Oh, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Den with D2 Destinations, and today we're going to talk about one of the things Goldwing riders tend to ignore or don't take quite as seriously as some of the other things that you should. That's what this is. This is the Final Drive gear oil, and this one is the Final Shaft Drive oil. Got it at the Honda shop. It is the 80W90. So I've heard guys change their oil, you know, every 6,000 miles or so, but they never ever address this. So today, I think it's a really good idea that you change the Final Drive oil at least a couple of times every other oil change or so. Some guys have let it go for years. Other guys have just said they change it every other oil change. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to change the Final Drive gear oil, and it just takes one wrench, a good drip pan, and one of these. The filler tube, as you'll see, the filler cap comes off, but it's very difficult to get to, so you want to have one of these little oil cans or something similar. I've seen guys use syringes and everything else, but here you go. These are the items we're going to be using today, so let's get to it. Okay, so up under the rear of the bike, it's on the center stand. You can see back here the Final Drive. I have the crescent wrench on the filler cap, and then the drain plug is right down here. This is very narrow in here, so I even have a flat side ratchet. As you can see here, this is a 17mm ratchet. You have easy access right here to the drain plug, but the filler cap up top, that's a different story. So what you're going to want to do is just use your basic crescent wrench. So the first thing we're going to do is loosen this, and we'll check the level that's in there, and then we are going to drain it. And I have my trusty drain pan that you've probably seen from the oil change video right here, and there's not a lot in here. It's only like 4.2 ounces. So what we're going to do is loosen this up and let it drain out, and then we're going to refill it with the brand new gear oil. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is take the crescent wrench and loosen the filler. Oil drop out the bottom, and we're just going to unscrew this. And this has a little O-ring on it. The little O-ring right there, you want to make sure that that is still in place and in good condition. And you can see that this is full because it's dripping out right there. That's a good sign, and it doesn't look all that bad. We're going to now go ahead and loosen the drain plug, which is right here. And with the drain plug, it's got to break that loose. It does have a replaceable washer, a crush washer on here, and I have that taped to the new gear oil. So let's see how far this splashes out here. But like I said, it's only about 4.2 ounces that we're concerned with, and there it comes. So it's going to get a little bit on the garage floor. The tire is really close, but this is going to allow that to drain. Because we do have the filler cap loose, it should come out a little easier. Now, I did run the bike around the block a few times just to warm up the gear oil a little bit, and as I touch it, it's still a little bit warm. That helps with the draining process. And then once it does stop draining down here, what we're going to do is rotate the rear tire both forward and backward, because we want to get all of that old gear oil as much as possible out of there before we fill in the new. Okay, now that that's slowed down a little bit to a very slow drip, I'm going to rotate the tire forward, and that'll have the Final Drive gears moving around in there. And as you can see, Next time around here, I'm going to take a look on the tire. Oh yeah, look at that. See, that's a problem. Never want to get the oil under your tire like that. Make sure, if it does in this case, you clean that off. I saw recently a guy just changed his oil on his bike and took it out for the little test ride right afterwards, and the whole thing slipped right out from under him and really actually messed up his ankle pretty bad. So be very, very careful to keep the oil off of the tire. The last thing you want to do is have oil on the tire. And it looks like this is draining fairly well. It's almost totally finished here. I'm going to get a clean rag and clean this up. All right, as you can see, there's just a little bit of oil still coming out. I have a clean rag here, and I'm going to move the oil drain pan out of the way for right now, because this is at a very slow, almost non-existent drip at this point. Clean this up, and that's looking pretty good. Now, your filler cap right here, you want to make sure that you inspect the O-ring on here. And this one looks really good, still in really good shape. We're gonna clean this up a little bit here. The drain plug, when it came out, as you saw, it has this crush washer on here. You want to take that off and replace the crush washer with a new crush washer. When I picked up the gear oil from this Honda shop, I had them go ahead and tape on a brand new crush washer right here. So I'm going to put that on and then snug that up. This is the brand new crush washer we're putting right on the drain plug. Make sure that this goes in without cross-threading it. There we go. All right. And down here, the flat ratchet does work, so I'm going to use that to snug this down just a bit, and you'll feel that crush washer crush just a little bit. You don't want to over tighten this. And there we go. Let's give it one more little, and I'll give you the foot-pounds on that, but that seems very, very snug, and that will seal that. I'm going to wipe it up real good here so we can tell if we've had any leaks at all. And it takes about 4.2 ounces. This is an 8-ounce bottle. And let me turn it this way so you can get a good look at exactly what that is. There you go. That's what you want, the SAE 80W90. Now we're gonna fill up the little oil can and pump in the new. This one will hold a total of 6 ounces. And like I said, it only takes about 4.2. This goes right up here, and just start squeezing it in there. And you'll know it's full when it comes up to the bottom of the filler line. It will start to leak out a little bit, so I have another paper towel down here ready to catch it. Okay, we're going to give this a few more pumps, and you see that it's starting to drip out right there. That means that it is full. So right there, when you hit that point, stop putting more in and just let that little bit drain out, and then that way you're assured that it is full. The full point is the bottom of this filler cap, literally right there where my finger is. So pump it until you get a little bit coming out, and then you know that the whole thing is totally full, and then it's time to put the cap back on your filler tube. It is a little difficult to get this seated in here, but once you get it seated, then you can go ahead and spin this on, and then you'll use the crescent wrench again because it's too tight to get up in here with a regular ratchet. Even my thin ratchet didn't do that. So get this all cleaned up. That is totally filled with brand new gear oil, so we should be good for quite some time now. These are 17 millimeter bolts, both of these. It doesn't take much. Tighten this down. Now remember, this has a rubber O-ring on there, and just take that till it's snug. And we are all set. Now what I would do is check this after riding it for a little while, just to make sure that you don't have any leaks, especially around the new crush washer, which is right here. Your O-ring, if it was in good condition up here, should be fine to hold in all that brand new gear oil. And you should be good to go for several miles now. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section down below. And this is the stuff you need right here for your final drive oil change. Again, that's a neglected item, but don't neglect it. You might end up having to buy a $4,000 Henry final drives. All right, guys, so that wasn't so bad. It's a lot easier than you might expect. If you think it's a big job, it's really not, as long as you have a couple of tools that are required. You need one of these flexible little oil cans or a syringe of some sort to get that oil up, over, and in. At first, you might think you need to remove the exhaust pipe or even the saddlebag. You don't have to do that at all. Literally, it's a drain plug and a fill plug. They're both 17 millimeter. And even with the thin ratchet, getting to the fill plug is really tight. So I had to use a crescent wrench on that. But now that we have all of that done, what we're gonna do is I moved the Action Pro over to the top of the helmet. We're gonna take a little spin around the block and make sure that everything is in order. But this little guy, that'll be your friend. And again, it is a lot easier than I anticipated. I thought this was gonna be a really big project when I first thought about doing it. But it is so easy. There's no reason why you shouldn't do that every other oil change. It is so easy. And one other tip, instead of that big drain pan that I use, there's not a lot of oil in there. So at the end, I just used a little Weber grill catch pan, those tiny little tin pans, and that was more than enough to catch the few drops that come out of the final drive. So there you have it. We're going to take a little spin right now and make sure everything sounds as it should. Bring it back, put it away, and then we're ready for the next long ride. All right, now we're out for a little test ride with that brand new gear oil in the final drive. Get it well lubricated with a quick little ride, and I figured, while we're out, let's go fill this thing up with fresh fuel as well. The weather is turning absolutely beautiful in Florida, so we're going to be getting a lot more riding in. As you guys know, I've talked about this before. Riding in July and August, especially this year, heat index 110. 110 heat index. I didn't even try because I've done that before. And you might as well just stand in the bathroom with two of your wife's hair dryers, point them at you, one at your face and one at your body, full blast on heat. Same kind of effect. Not real fun. But now this is terrific because we are seeing a lot better temperatures, and we also have the lower humidity, and it's not expected to rain for a little while. So we're gonna have some more trips coming up. But if you're going to change your oil on your Goldwing, which I'm going to do that again, and please check out the other video. It walks you step by step through changing the oil on the Goldwing. The changing of the final drive was a lot easier than I had anticipated. With a couple little things, you want to make sure you have a good oil pump, fresh oil up in there. It does take something with a curved nozzle like that, but if you first look at it and you're just thinking, holy cow, how am I going to fill that filler plug from up here? And you don't have to take the exhaust off, you don't have to take the saddlebag off, you just need a flexible hose and an oil can and it'll pump it right in there for you. But everything seems smooth and quiet behind me. No gear whine or anything else. And once we've put a few miles on, I'm gonna double check the caps, make sure that there's no oil leaking whatsoever. But yeah, riding season's coming up, so we're gonna have a lot more content with new destinations. If you guys have any particular areas in Florida that you would like to see, if you're out of town and you're not sure of one particular area over another and you want to see some footage of that or what it's like, let me know. I'd be glad to share that with you. I've been in Florida for over 32 years now, and I've seen quite a bit of it, and all the way down to Key West. I was just talking with my dad. We went to a little family reunion, and he lives in Florida part-time, and he has never been to Key West. And I was like, Dad, seriously? You know, before you leave the earth, you really need to at least go to Key West once with a group of friends. So that's one ideal location. There are many, many others, and I've taken journeys on some of the other videos to those points and some of the really good riding roads. But if you guys have any requests of something you want to see, particularly in the Tampa Bay area, or, you know, Sarasota, Venice, whatever, let me know. I'll be glad to provide information on that for you. Okay guys, here we go. And again, when you're getting fuel, all you need is 87 octane, and the Goldwing will not become a high performance machine just because you use a different fuel. You just need to make sure that use an 87. That's really all you need. Okay, now we have a full tank of fuel, fresh final drive gear oil, and tomorrow I'm going to change the oil as well, but I'm not going to film that one. That video is already out there, how to change the oil on a Goldwing. So go ahead and check it out. But as always guys, great riding with you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on D2 Destinations. Please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.